I discovered my wife was unfaithful on a Tuesday afternoon, 37 minutes after she texted me a heart emoji. Technically, I suppose I'd been discovering it for months. The evidence had been dripping through the ceiling in slow, irregular drops. The late nights at team drinks, the phone that suddenly lived face down, the laughter that stopped when I walked into a room. But that afternoon was when all the drips finally soaked through the plaster and landed in my hand. I work in IT, which means two things. One, I'm paid to be paranoid. Two, I know what a synced account looks like when someone forgets to disconnect it. Sarah had borrowed my old tablet a while back to read on the train. I'd factory reset it, signed it into her email so she could get her books, and then pretty much forgotten it existed. It lived under the coffee table, buried under magazines and takeaway menus until the power cut that Tuesday. I was working from home. The electricity flickered and died halfway through a call, and with my laptop battery already low, I reached for the tablet as a stopgap. It chugged awake, demanded Wi-Fi, and then, without asking, quietly pulled in every notification from her phone. The first one was harmless, a group chat about a colleague's birthday. The second wasn't. Last night was unreal. I can still smell you on me. There are some sentences you can't misunderstand, no matter how much you want to. The sender's name was saved as just a first initial and a fire emoji. There were months of messages there, stacked like plates in a sink no one had bothered to wash. Hotel receipts complaining about my boring routines, plans carefully scheduled around my on-call shifts, a photo of the inside of a bar I'd never been to with a caption, "He thinks I'm at yoga." I read enough to understand the shape of it. It wasn't a one-off mistake. It was a parallel life. I didn't throw the tablet. I didn't scream. I didn't call her work to demand they put her on the phone. Instead, I put the tablet down like it was something fragile, went to the bedroom, and got a suitcase out of the wardrobe. The thing about being calm is that people mistake it for weakness right up until the moment you pick up the suitcase. Sarah came home early that day. She walked into the apartment with her usual gust of perfume and shopping bags, kicking the door shut behind her, humming under her breath. Then she saw the open suitcase on the bed and the folded piles of my shirts. Her humming stopped mid-note. "What are you doing?" she asked. I didn't answer immediately. I was rolling socks, placing them in the corner of the case like I was playing some quiet private game of Tetris. It gave me a second to decide what kind of man I wanted to be in this moment. When I finally looked up, I said, "I read your messages." Her eyes flicked, almost involuntarily, towards the living room. The tablet lay exactly where I'd left it. You could have drawn a straight line from her pupils to the device. "You went through my stuff?" she said, voice sharpening. "That's a serious violation, Daniel." I almost laughed. It came out as air through my nose instead. "Is it?" I said. "Because from where I'm standing, that word has done a lot of traveling in the last few months." She dropped the bags. One of them toppled, oranges rolling across the floor. "Okay," she said. "Okay. Just stop packing for a second. We can talk about this." "There's not much to talk about," I said. My voice sounded distant to my own ears, like it was coming through a good pair of noise-canceling headphones. "You've been cheating on me for months, while using my schedule to coordinate it. I'm not interested in a debate about the finer point." "He means nothing," she said quickly. "It was just stupid. I've been stressed. You're always working. I made a mistake, but marriages survive this kind of thing if both people are willing to work on it." She'd already switched into a tone I recognized, the one she used with clients when she was negotiating down a refund. Reasonable, professional, practiced. "You didn't make a mistake," I said. "You made a series of decisions. This is one of mine." I zipped the side compartment shut. That small final sound must have snapped whatever composure she had left. She stepped forward, hand out like she was going to grab my arm, then thought better of it. "You can't just walk out," she said. "Where are you even going to go?" "My brother's place," I said, "for now. He lives an hour away. You have work. The lease is in your name. The bills. Daniel, be serious." "I am being serious," I said, for the first time in a long time. I went to the chest of drawers and opened the one where we kept the boring life documents. Passports, insurance, the lease agreement she'd just mentioned. I'd already taken photos of everything on my phone. Now I slid the physical folder into the suitcase. That's when she yelled it. "You can't leave," she shouted. "I haven't found anyone else yet." Silence dropped over the room like a curtain. Her hand flew to her mouth immediately, as if she could catch the words and shove them back in. But it was too late. They were already in the air between us, hanging there, rearranging everything I thought I knew about the last 7 years. "Wow," I said softly. "That's honest." "I didn't mean it like that," she said, voice cracking. I meant we haven't fixed anything. We haven't tried counseling. You're supposed to give me a chance. You can't just..." "You meant it exactly like that," I said. "You just forgot to run it through the PR filter first." I sat down on the edge of the bed, the suitcase between us like a neutral country. "So that's what I've been then," I said. "A placeholder. The guy you stay with until you trade up." up. She shook her head so hard her hair whipped her cheeks. Tears were forming, but I'd seen her cry at television adverts. Tears alone had stopped being a reliable data point years ago. "No," she said. "You're twisting it. I love you. I do. It's just, I panicked. I'm scared. I don't want to be alone." "You haven't been alone," I said. "You've had option. That was the point, wasn't it?" Her shoulders slumped. For a moment, the practiced expressions dropped away and I saw something raw underneath. Not remorse exactly, but fear. Fear of losing the fixed points in her life. This apartment, my salary, the comfortable routine she'd been so bored of she'd gone looking for fireworks elsewhere. I realized then that she wasn't terrified of losing me. She was terrified of losing the infrastructure I provided. Coins, I thought abstractly, the material world, mortgage payments, health insurance, the boring gravity that keeps people on the ground. "I'll give notice on the lease tomorrow," I said. "You can stay until it's up if you cover the rent. We'll talk to a lawyer about dividing everything else." "You're overreacting," she said weakly. "People move past this. It doesn't have to be like this." "For it not to be like this," I said, "you would have had to think about me before you started booking hotel rooms under fake conference name." Her eyes widened again. "You saw those too." "I saw enough," I said. "And I'm tired, Sarah. I'm tired of being the boring stability you resent until the moment I pick up a suitcase." I closed the case. This time the sound was final. On my way out, I took the tablet from the coffee table and set it on the kitchen counter. "You might want to unsync your accounts before you lend this to the next guy," I said, "for his sake." Her face crumpled. "Please," she said, "don't do this. Don't throw away everything over a few stupid messages." "It's not the messages," I said. "It's what you yelled when you thought you were losing me." I left before she could answer. The first night at my brother's place felt strained. His sofa was too short for me, and his dog kept trying to climb onto my chest like a furry, insistent paperweight. At 3 in the morning, I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying her words on a loop. "You can't leave. I haven't found anyone else yet." Some part of me kept wanting to argue with them, to negotiate their meaning into something less brutal. Maybe she meant, "We haven't worked on this." Maybe she meant, "I'm scared." But the only reason you yell the sentence that way is if it's sitting there, fully formed, inside you. In the weeks that followed, the practical work took over. Meetings with a lawyer, canceled joint subscriptions, changing passwords, blocking a number, then unblocking it long enough to send one final, very clear list of my conditions about when she could contact me regarding the divorce. We didn't scream at each other in parking lots or throw plates. There were no spectacular public scenes, just a series of signed documents and empty drawers. The quiet admin of ending a life. Sometimes, though, in the middle of filling out some dull form about pension beneficiaries, I'd hear her voice again in my head, sharp and panicked. "You can't leave." The thing is, I already had. Leaving wasn't the moment I dragged the suitcase into the hall or handed back my keys. Leaving was the moment I realized I'd been treated like a placeholder and decided I no longer wanted to audition for the role of "until someone better comes along." I didn't catch her, confront the other man, or destroy anybody's career. There was no grand revenge. I just refused to stay where I wasn't really wanted, only needed. And sometimes I think that's the most powerful thing you can yell back at a life that's been using you. Nothing at all. You just close the door, pick up your bags, and walk away before they find anyone else.